We're in business. We are on Daf Yugimel Alf, but I kind of glossed over the last Gemara last night. I really want to just do it over again. Last 3 lines on Yud Beis without Beis. The Gemara says there, well, actually 4 lines, 5 lines. The 5th line from the bottom. Rabbi Yosef B'Shem Re'avo Shol Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yosef Re'avo asked Rabbi Yochanan, Hadam Rosh Shnios Ein Lahem Hefsek. It sounds like Shnios go all the way up and down the line, which is of course something which we saw already several times, but he's repeating that Shnios go up and down the line. Amar Leisi said, V'chi Shnios L'Shnios Shoninu. So he says, you think that they're Gzeros L'Gzeros? Don't think they're Gzeros L'Gzeros. It's not. They're all one Gzera. Lo Shnia L'Divrei Torah. They're all Gzera to Divrei Torah. However, the thing is, Kula Mishum Kalas Beno. Very interesting perspective. The Korban Eder brings down here that really the Raisa, your son's daughter-in-law is permissible to you. But we find in the Torah that your children, your grandchildren, call your children Bnei Banim Areim Kibonim, because you find that Ephraim Umnash Krumim Shimon Yuli. So therefore, it's proper for Chazal to ask her Kalas Beno, your son's daughter-in-law, right? Again, Rav and Omrav permitted your daughter's daughter-in-law because it's not, in the same line, right? But your son's daughter-in-law is proper to ban. So we ban that, and all the other arayas, all the other shniyas which are banned, are all based on that. So it's based on that relationship, all the other ones surround it. Rabbi Chizkiah B'Shem Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yevo said, Rabbi Yevo law markate. Rabbi Yevo was not the one who asked this question. Rather, Rabbi Lezer showed Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Lezer asked Rabbi Yochanan, Shmona Shniyos Shaninu. We learned 8 shniyos in the Brisa on Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Harei Teisha, but Kalas Beno is another one, and that's the 9th one. So Rabbi Yochanan answered, "V'kulon mishum Kalas Beno." No, all of them. Rabbi Kalas Beno is not mentioned as one of them, even though it's a 9th one, a separate one, because it is the root for all other shniyos. All the shniyos are based on the principle of Bnei Banim Areim Kibanim, and everything else surrounds that concept of Bnei Banim Areim Kibanim. Okay, so that's the idea of the shniyos which go up and down the line, the Bnei Banim Areim Kibanim aspect. Okay, let's go weiter. Somebody has a brother, no matter where the brother is from, Zokek Eseshes of the evil requires the brother's wife to be Misyabemis. Vachiv lo l'chol davar, and he is his brother in all matters. Chutz mima sheyesh lo well, it's his brother in any way, shape, or form. Even a mamzer, of course, if it's his brother from his father. Chutz mima sheyesh lo shivcha min nachris, with the exception of a brother whose father gave birth to from a slave woman or from a shiksa, in which case there's no relationship between him and his brother, and of course there's no yibum in that situation, right? There has to be a relationship which is sanctioned by Jewish law. Misheyesh, well, not sanctioned by Jewish law, but which is Jewish by Jewish law. Similarly, Misheyesh lo ben mikol makom. If the deceased brother has a son in any way, shape, or form, poter seishes soviv mina yibum, then his father's wife is exempt from the yibum. V'chayav ha'makasav ha'klaso, and he's liable if he hits his father or if he curses his father. U'b'nolo l'chol davar, and it's a child in any way, even if it's born very far, wedlock, even it's a mamzer again, born from somebody else's wife. With the exception of if a father has a child from a shivcha or a nachri, then that does not count for exempting him from yibum. Exempting his wife from yibum, his wife still has to undergo yibum or chalitza.
Isn't this all pshita?
It is pshita, right. More is going to make a little bit of a difference here. Rabbi Yavin stated actually here, that which he said is children all matters, even if it's an illegitimate child, it's a feel period of a review. It's even in terms of purvu, he fulfilled purvu. In other words, if a guy had a mamzer, then it's still purvu he fulfills. That counts. Now here, the Gemara in the next 3 lines is very messed up. So I'm going to read you the language of from this Vilna until the word until more or less the word V'yolda. In 3 lines later, it's very messed up. And this is what it should say. Say, according to the Shai Torah Eretz Yisrael, there are other ways of learning. There are other ways of changing the gears here, but that's the one which works the best. He says V'lo Shanya, not V'lishnia. He says V'lo Shanya. There's no difference between goy, haba bas Yisrael, between a goy who has relations with a Jewish woman, v'yolda, and she gives birth, v'chakach nisgayer, and then the goy becomes a ger, the chaser bal, and he has relations with the same woman again, v'yolda, and then she gives birth again. So it's actually the same 2 people had 2 children in a row. One of which conceived when the husband was still not Jewish. The other was conceived when the husband was already Jewish. Okay? Or vice versa. She was always Jewish. Right, she was always Jewish. Or vice versa. Bein Yisrael Shabbat Goya, or a Yisrael had relations with a Shiksa, the old, and she gave birth. And then she became converted. And then we had relations with her, the Yolda, and she gave birth. So that's all the opposite case, where first the girl was not Jewish, and then afterwards the girl became Jewish. So both these cases, continuing on the 3rd line, the child which is born when both partners are Jewish is considered to be the firstborn vis-a-vis nachla, vis-a-vis inheritance, and he gets double. However, it's not a b'chor vis-a-vis pidyon haben. Why? Because pidyon haben has to be peter rechem. Has to be the father's peter rechem in this woman, and so the peter rechem occurred either when he was not Jewish and therefore it's part from pidyon haben, or when she was not Jewish and therefore it's part from pidyon haben. So that two remains because there has to be the opening of the womb. But the next child to be born, which is the first child born where both are Jewish, that's the one who gets Pishnaim, who gets double in the portion of the father. Okay? So it said,
if let's say these 2 boys are born, one before the mother converted and one after the mother converted.
Yeah.
They grow up, get married. The Jewish child gets married. He dies, leaves a wife without a child.
Yeah, is there no relation for Hebrew? Completely not. Right, that's exactly the point.
Does the Gemara talk about that?
Not directly, no, but it's assumed that that's the case. You're right, it's not directly discussed here. Says Gemara, Goy Shabbat Goya V'yolda. If a Goy has relations with 2 non-Jews, they have a child.
Right? They use the word Goy and Goy. I don't recall that.
Well, in the Bavli, it's excised because of censorship. So here, I guess the Yerushalmi didn't bother censoring as much. But you're right. It's
either Kuti or
Kuti or Akum. Right. This is said. They avoided censorship. The Yerushalmi. It's a good point. So Goy Shabbat Goy V'yolda. Goy Shabbat Goy Rana Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Page 25, and we're in the 5th line in the Gemara. Go, let's go. You give them out.
Page 25.
Go, the 5th line. There's an extra Gemara on the shelf there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, you have it, Goy Shabbat Goya? No, you don't. Goy Shabbat Goya, here. Okay, Goy Shabbat Goya. A Goy man has relations with a Goy woman. Behold, and she gives birth. Rabbi Yochanan Goyim Yeshlem Yachasim. Rabbi Yochanan says a Goy is related to his kids. He's related to his kids. They are related to each other. No, don't guess anything. Goyim Ein Lahem Yachasim. A Goy is not related to his children. They have no relations. They have no relationships. Okay? That's what it says here.
I see that.
Vaksiv, so ask more amazing questions we have here. What about it says, Ba'isei Sholach, at that time there was sent from Merodach Baladan ben Baladan. He was one of the Babylonian kings. Merodach Baladan sent a message, a melech sent a message, B'chol Svarim, in all sorts of books, a mincha, and a gift of Chizkiyo. So it says here that you have a guy who's called Pliny ben Pliny. If Goyim... What? You wait till you see the next one. So if that's the case, so Goyim must be related. Otherwise it couldn't say, to Christopher, son of John, right? So since it says it must be that related. Now actually the Bavli in Daf Samach Beis says, as a result of this, they pack up shop. They say you're right. Goyim do have relations among each other as long as they're Goyim. But once they convert, as we know, they lose. All the relationships are dissolved. But the Gemara here doesn't. It's obstinate. The Yerushalmi says no. He had a certain merit there. It says there that the Bavli brings down the mice in more detail that his father looked like a dog. He had some disease which he learned like a dog, but still he gave him covet as if he was still the king, even though he could no longer act as king, so whatever. So there, it's a special dignity we gave him. It's like an honorary title. You're talking the son of your father. We'll give you the schus. But normally a guy is not related to his father.
The story about the Paraduma, wasn't there a story where the son didn't want to disturb the father?
Dum and Sina, but that's not in Tanakh. Yeah, but that's not. They might not be related just because he was. The question was.
He gave cover to.
Yeah, but of course the Goyim think they're related to their parents. The question is whether they're correct in thinking they're related to their parents. They might be foolish enough to think it, even though it's not logically correct. So it says the Gemara. Vaksiv doesn't say Vaishlach HaMelech Asa. The king Asa said the message. El ben Hadad ben Tavrimon ben Chezion Melech Aram Hayoshe b'Damasek Lemor. So he sent a message to this guy Ben Hadad. It says Ben Hadad was the son of his father, So we see here relationships. It says no. Koitzitz ben Koitzitz. What he said is murderer, son of a murderer. In other words, a kotzitz is a cutter down. So he didn't mean that he was really a child, his parents' child. He wasn't his father's child. He was a stinker from a stinking family. That's what it meant. Kamada Atama, like it says an amazing thing. It says in the Esther, Ki Hamad ben Amdosa. Hamad said Amdosa. Says the Yerushalmi, Chi ben Amdosa Hava. Was he the son of Amdosa? Who wasn't the son of Amdosa? I don't know, maybe Amdosa was his grandfather. Maybe Amdosa was not even related to him. It's not clear. But it says, El Tzayler ben Tzayler. So Haman was, of course, language of the Jews, Sorer HaYehudim. And Haman Amdosa was Sorer HaYehudim. Right? It says, Ki Haman ben Amdosa Sorer HaYehudim. So the Yerushalmi is learning that Amdosa was a Sorer, and so too was Haman. Actually, the Shari Torah Yisrael changed the gears to this morning. I don't know what authority, except for yours. He says Haman Amdasa Hagogi, and he actually puts the word Kiyama Amdasa Hagogi, and as Yerushalmi adds B'chi ben Agog here, that he actually wasn't related to Agog, that he really wasn't from Agog at all, right? The what? Yeah, but in Masech B'Seifrim it doesn't bring it down. In a lineage of Masech B'Seifrim and the Targum Sheni, it says that he wasn't. It doesn't bring down Agog. There is such. I saw once a parish like that Haman was not really from. Yeah, no, there's famous story that Troll left Agog alive. But I once heard somewhere, I don't remember where, that another conflicting medrash that really he wasn't even an Amaleki. He just called himself an Agogi because he liked the ideology. It's like I'm a Nazi. That's what he was saying. That was the idea. So that's actually in line with the Shai Teretz Yisrael. But I don't know anybody else who changed the gears, so I don't see any point in going along with that. So David, but you know that the Lubavitchers, they only clap Haman when they say Haman ben Amdasa. Yeah, they don't clap Haman for Haman. So it could be a little bit of a makor here in the Yerushalmi, right? Because when it's Haman ben Amdasa, it's a double whammy, Tzoyer ben Tzoyer. So that's why they said do it then. You're asking good. The question is whether they can inherit each other. When a guy dies, is there automatic right of inheritance? It's before Man Torah. Stock answer. What? There isn't a set rights, but it's mostly Eish Ish. At L'maisa, though, we paskin like the Bavli that they do have Yachayis. So therefore, we do paskin that they have limited relations. But I think all based on the mother, not on the father. The Goyim said not to have fathers. Yeah, basically. But they don't have fathers, only mothers. Something like that. I forget exactly how it works. So Rabbi Yochanan said, Voxiv doesn't say Utziva Chamisha Asar Bonim. It says Tziva was a guy, he might even have been an Evid. He had 15 sons, Vasim Avodim, and 20 daughters. And 20 slaves. V'avadi Yeshem Yichus. So how could Tziva was a slave? What kind of Yichus does he have? So how could he even say that he had 15 sons? It's an amazing concept. The Tanakh seems to be saying something based on Lashon Bnei Adam, but the Yerushalmi is taking it very seriously. How can it say kids if they're not kids? So it says there's actually two words. Balim knows it's coming to count Shomti Shem Mephibosheth, the losses to Mephibosheth. If you recall, Tziva was Mephibosheth's slave who undermined him and went to snitch on him to David. So therefore, what's going to say is that Mephibosheth, as a result of the whole this whole conflict with Tziva, actually he lost Tziva as a slave. Tziva was given half of the land of Mephibosheth. There was a whole episode there. David was punished for that later on. But in any event, so since there it's just going to tell us not to count them as children literally, but to count them as losses to Mephibosheth. The language the Bavli uses in this case is when it says that they were Tziva's sons, which Bavli says just like you would say a par ben bakar, a bull son of a cow. Is it really a son? There's no yichus by animals, right? But what it means is that it's that this is just a biological, a zoological phenomenon. And here too, it's the same thing. It doesn't mean they're halachically kids. It means zoologically they were his kids, and they were. But really, it's just coming to tell us what losses Mephibosheth suffered as a result of Tziva's mutiny there. Okay. Says the Gemara, how do we know that a shivcha? If you have relations with her, the kids are not the kids are not the Jews. It says it says if a Jewish slave has relations with a shivcha, then the wife, the shivcha, and the children belong to the master. They're not his. Nochris, how do you know if you have relations with a non-Jewish woman? Then it's not your it's not your kids, because it says Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Shem ben Yochai. Rabbi Yochanan name Rabbi Shem ben Yochai. See, it says Lo tischatim bam. It says do not marry among them. Uksiv, it says why Kiyos has been me'achorai. It's going to remove your kids from behind me, meaning that the goyim, who are the family of the woman who this poor Jew marries, they're going to undermine the Judaism of the kid. So it means that the kid must not be Jewish. In other words, it's not talking about they're going to be merachikim spiritually, but it means that they're going to be distanced halachically because the kid is not going to be Jewish. Okay? As they say, bincha misra, it should mean bincha misraelis. Your son from a Jewish woman, kore bincha, is considered to be your son. Vein bincha migoya, your son from a non-Jewish woman, is not kore bincha, called your son, ela b'noah, but rather her daughter, his son. Nevertheless, there was chas v'shalom to say such a thing literally, but just as an example, there was a Reform rabbi among Chazal. Who was the Reform rabbi? Yaakov Ish Gevurei. Of course, he wasn't really a Reform rabbi. I'm just saying that it's a joke. But what did he do? He kashered patrilineal descent. As a Litzor, he went to Tyre. Asun Sholin lay, and they came and asked him, Mao Migza Breda Amaisa B'Shuvsa. If a Jew has a son by a shiksa, and the 8th day comes on a Shabbos, ki Michal Shabbos to mal the kid. Okay? That was the question. So the Savra Mission, a Jew has a kid with a non-Jewish woman. Can you do the bris milah on the 8th day if it comes on a Shabbos? Okay? So the Savar, he thought Mishlilon. He wanted to permit them from here. It says, they were counted in the census as to how they were given birth in families, by their father's house. So we see that it goes by their father's house. So patrilineal descent, right? The father is Jewish, that's enough.
But that's for inheritance. That's for...
Shama Rabbi Chagai. Rabbi Chagai said, Omar, he said, and this is what we should do with all Reform rabbis. Yesei Aisune, let them bring him to me. Dialke, that we should flog him. See, if we did that more often, there would be less Reform rabbis around. Yes. I don't remember. It could be. I mean, could be. I didn't look up to see if there was, but could be. So Amarle. So Yaakov Ish Gevurei said, "Wait a minute. Mechonat Malkeni." I told him, "Okay, from what pasuk are you flogging me?" Amarle said, "Minado." I said, from here, the it says in Ezra, "Va'aton nichros pisa lokenu." It says they said, "Let's make a covenant to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and remove the non-Jewish wives and children which we have." So we see that they're not called their wives and children. Amarle. So Yaakov Ishi, they said, Yaakov Ish Gevurei said, "Umina kapola malkeni." You need Malchus based on pasuk nach. It's not fair. It's me pasuk in Torah. It's mamish like Reform, right? So Amarle, so he said, no. It says there in Ezra, ukitaylo yaseh, that they're doing that to Torah itself. Amarle, so Yaakov said, min hadei raya, from what passage in Torah? Amarle, so he said, mi'ahidam Rabbi Yochanan b'shem Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So that which Rabbi Yochanan said, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. He said, Ksiv, it says, lo tischati bam, it says, who I married them. Uksiv, and it says, ki yotzesh bincha me'achorai, because it's going to remove your kid from behind me, from Judaism. Bincha Yisrael, your son from a Jew, or Israelis, Karui, a Jewish woman, Kari Bincha is called your son. Bincha Migoya, Kari Bincha Elavina. Your son from a non-Jewish woman is not called your son, rather her son. Amarle, so Yaakov said, Chavait Chavatcha, beat me up. It's good to absorb these blows. In other words, the tshuva, he wanted to learn the lesson. Now he's willing to accept the flogging. Okay, as I say, we should test what? If it wasn't, you mean exotic, not strange. Exotic. So, isn't that good? What's bothering you? The goyim. Yeah. Do you think a goyish marriage is actually binding? Why should a goyish marriage be binding? But who says they have rules? Yeah. So that's what Yerushalmi is talking about, where they have rules. In fact, they do. In fact, they do have Eishes Ish. They do have rules like that, but it's not so simple.
As a matter of fact, Eish Seish is more relevant to them, as we mentioned, than Yichus. Because Yichus is based on family relationships and that they do not have. But Eish Seish is a pure concept of ownership or purchase, acquisition. So that they were bonding that they would have. Okay, on we go. This guy married one or two sisters. Not a human situation. He doesn't know which one he married. They both look the same. They were twins. So, no say get lazu. He's got to give a get to each one. Mace. Now it's turned to a human situation. The guy dies. He has one brother who doesn't know which. He doesn't. The husband doesn't know which sister he married. The brother's going to know. So, so if he has one brother, that brother's got to do chalitza to the both because we don't know which one's actually married to him. If he's got two brothers, one does chalitza, one does yibum. If what happens to both of them do yibum, so we don't make them divorce her. Why shouldn't they both do yibum though? Can you think why they shouldn't both do yibum? Well, the secret's only in one of them. What?
So if he does yibum on the one guy does yibum, so there's no more zikr for the other.
Right. So why shouldn't they both do yibum?
Why should they do both?
It says they both shouldn't do yibum. But if they did do yibum, they get to keep her. Each one gets to keep his wife. Why shouldn't they both do yibum? That's the question. I'm looking for an answer.
I thought that was the answer.
What's the answer? Yeah, but that's just so. Why can he marry her then? Remember, his brother was only married to one of them, not both of them. They were two sisters. He couldn't have been married to both of them.
Right.
So what's the problem? One brother marries her because of yibum, and the other marries her because she was never married before. You don't. Why do you have to know? But no matter what, it'll come out okay. Because one of them is even doing yibum, one of them is doing meaningless act. One of them, remember, only one of them was actually married to the guy, right? Only one could be married because now it's married two sisters. So now if they both do yibum, one of them is going to be doing yibum, one of them is going to be marrying a woman who's never married before. What's the problem? No? No. That's if they were both married to the brother. Here only one was married to the brother.
So it's a suffix, not a suffix.
But that's not the problem. The problem is that B'nai Moshe Korbanei say, I'm not allowed to do yibum to the sister of my Yevamos. In other words, if one guy did chalitza and the other guy did yibum, so by the time he does yibum, manavshach, no matter what, he's okay. If the first one was the Yevamos, so he's not doing yibum, he's just marrying the woman, because the first one who had chalitza, and when chalitza, she went out, right, and now he can do whatever he wants to this girl, right? If, however, the first guy did yibum and then he does yibum, so if the first yibum was the valid one, gesundheit, I mean, because then yibum took place, and then there's an extra sister around, let the other brother marry her, no problem with that. But if the first guy did yibum on the sister who wasn't actually married, of course, since we do not know, so he's doing yibum on the sister of a woman to who he has a Yevamos relationship, and that's forbidden. You're only allowed, you're not allowed to marry achos zekukoso. We have never really seen that yet, but that's you're not allowed to marry achos kukoso. It's a one-time problem though, because immediately after that, his brother went to his miyabim and mekayim the mitzvah of yibum.
So therefore, on the first biyah, the first relations which he had with this woman, he transgressed the prohibition of achos kukaso. But then when his brother came along and did yibum to the second one, so then it's no longer achos kukaso because the second one is taken care of. So therefore, he can remain with her if he took her already, even though he took her be'isr. Okay? It's complicated. What can I tell you? But the principle here is that you're not allowed l'chatchila to marry achos kukaso, to marry the sister of a woman to whom you have a relationship of yavam and yavam. Okay? Now, mishakina shalosh b'nei achis. Somebody married one of two sisters. Ve'eni odea leiza shakir leiza. It's just a quote from the Mishnah. Ve'eni odea leiza kiddush. She doesn't know which one he married. No, he's saying get lezu v'get lezu. He gives a get to each one. Mace. If he dies, and he's got one brother, and the brother does chalitza to both of them. Now, that's the whole quote from Mishnah. Ask Gemara. It's really about Bati's question. No offense to you guys, but it's about Bati's question. Why did you do two chalitzas? You only do one chalitza. Here, you're making him do two chalitzas. Why? Says the Gemara, that's not a kasha. Kam bavadi, where you have definitely two sorrows, so only have to do one chalitza between the two. But here it's a sabi, you don't know which one is actually the wife, so of course you have to do two chalitzas, right? Similarly, we said if you had two brothers, one does chalitza, one does yibum. Everywhere, you say in all places, in all places they tell them to yibum, and you don't say do chalitza on the other one. On the other. Why? So says the Gemara, kan bevadai, kan besafek. It's one is a vadai, one is a safek. In other words, when it's a vadai between the two co-wives, you only have to do one. But when it's a safek between the two co-wives, you have to take care of each one. They're not really co-wives, but each one is a safek wife. Now we said, of course, if you took them but the eved, so then we don't make you get divorced. Now, the next Gemara is kind of messed up. Obviously, it's that because of it's a quote from the Mishnah, but there's nothing in the Gemara going on that. So it seems like it's out of left field. So actually, the way the Korban Ein and Shari Torah Yitzrog learn it, they throw in here the parts of the next Gemara. And the way they throw it in is like follows. The Gemara after the next Mishnah. They start with the second line of the Gemara after the next Mishnah. The Gemara after the next Mishnah, Mr. Zuger. They throw in here the Gemara after the next Mishnah. Okay, and the second line after the next Mishnah. Hada dat Amar, the last word in the line. You gotta sit closer, I can't reach this far. Hada dat Amar, they start from here. Hada dat Amar, that's only b'shachotz v'chachachibin. Right? And it's explaining our Mishnah. It's okay when the first brother does chalitza, then the second brother can do yibum. Aval yibum b'tchilo aser. But as he mentioned before, the chatchila, they shouldn't both do yibum. What if one did yibum first? That's forbidden. Shema Yevamos achiv, because maybe his brother will die before his brother does yibum or chalitza. And he had relations with his Yevama's sister prior to chalitza or yibum having taken place. So I'll go again mentioning why the chatchila we forbid both to do yibum, because maybe the first guy is going to do yibum, and then the second brother is going to drop dead, and then the Yevama is left dangling because she never had yibum or chalitza, and this guy is married to the sister of the Yevama, which is a prohibition. Okay, so that's the chatchil. We don't let both of them do yibum, because wherever the first guy is going to transgress an isser. Now, so going back to the beginning of the Gemara here, Tani, we learned one line above the Tani. We learned Tani Echad Yisrael Kohanim Kaseder Hazeh. Both Yisraelim and Kohanim have this halacha that even Kohanim who did the wrong thing, and they both did yibum, so they don't have to divorce their wives because of this. Why? Because the fact that I had relations with the sister of my Yevama doesn't make her chalola, right? It's not a problem. I could still remain married to her, even though I made an aveira. I shouldn't have had relations with the sister of my Yevama until the Yevama was taken care of first, but I'm still allowed to remain married to this woman. Okay? Says what? It doesn't matter. Chalutz is also the Rabbanan to a Kohen. So I might say Achos Yevama is also the Rabbanan to a Kohen as well. Maybe it's a chal. No, it's not true. It's a chalol to Rabbanan. A chalutz is a chalol to Rabbanan. Yeah. Chalutz is a chalol to Rabbanan. No, there's chalol to Rabbanan too. Just like there's mamas to Rabbanan, there's chalol to Rabbanan. So now we go to one more line from beyond. Well, actually, a few more lines beyond the paragraph we did before. 4 lines down here, the Gemara. I'm Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said, Hada Amara. This teaches us, based on what we just said, that Habal Achos Chalutza. So it's not supposed to be Chalutza. It's supposed to be Zkukasa. That somebody has relations with the sister of his kuka. Lo Pasaminakuna. It's not a Chol of the Rabbanan. I might have thought it makes the Chol Rabbanan that relations with the sister of a woman who still is Yevama, so she's not. Rabbi Yosef, but by Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Ba said, Tani Rabbi Chia also taught us right. So Habal Chos Kukaso, so he has relations with the sister of the woman to whom he has a Zika relationship. Lo Pasmi Akuna still does not render her unfit for the Kuna. Okay? So again, if you have a Yevama, have relations with the sister, even if you're Kohen, you didn't make her Chalol, and you still allowed to be married to her. Okay, let's go to now to Halacha Ches. So the Mishnah we skipped. Shnaim all that was being put, the Shai Tersel and the Korban put into the previous Gemara. Now, Shnaim Shekitu Shtei Achios. This is complicated already. 2 brothers married 2 sisters. Obviously, these are major klutzes. Okay, but you have 2 twins marrying 2 twins. Neither of them remembers which twin they married. Okay, idiots. No, Zeno said take Eaton, Zeno said take Eaton. Each brother's got to give 2 gets. 1 to each one, right? Mesu. What if they die? Lezeach ulezeach. Oh, they're not necessarily 2 brothers. They're 2 people. I said 2 brothers, a mistake. 2 people married 2 sisters. Now, if they died, these 2 people, and each one had a brother, each brother of the deceased has to chalitza on each one. Now, what if one of these people had 1 brother, and the other one had 2 brothers? So, the 1 brother, does chalitza on both of them, because we don't know which one was really his brother's wife. Vashnaim of the other 2, one does chalitza, one does yibum. Kadma the kansu, if both did yibum, we do not make them divorce their wives. Now, says the Gemara, discussing this, going to the past everything we skipped to the 6th line from the bottom, the last one in the line. Mesu is a quote for the Gemara. Mesu is the from Mishnah. Mesu, if they die, each one of their brothers has 2 chalitza for both of them. The same question we had in the previous Gemara. Every place you say we do not need 2 chalitzas. Well, say need 2. Says more Kambavare, depends if Vavare it's a suffix. Here it's a suffix. So therefore, since you don't know which one was actually the wife, you have to chalitza both. It's not like 2 co-wives. And again, if one had 1 brother and the other had 2 brothers, the 1 brother, in its capacities, potential Yoav of each one of them, does chalitza to both one of them. Vasheni, the 2 brothers of the other guy, one does chalitza, one does yibum. So again, the same question which I had before. Everywhere else you said, any place they don't tell a guy, do yibum, if you don't say yibum, you don't say chalitza. Here you say that you can do wherever you say yibum, sorry. You don't say chalitza, you say you do say yibum and chalitza at the same time. Again, kamvari, kambasovik, it's not a gotcha. Because one is vaday, then you do either chalitza or yibum, but where it's a suffix, so then, since you don't know which is which, you can do both. Again, if they marry, so then we allow them both to keep their wives. Now, here too, something's missing. But it's a one-liner which is put after the next Mishnah because it applies both to Halacha Ches and to Halacha Tes, as we'll see in a moment. Now, if this is complicated till now it gets really complicated. But it's a lighthearted case. Lighthearted case. See? Can you see? This case. There are two sisters, Rachel and Leah. There were three brothers, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and another three brothers not related, Moshe, Aaron, and Nachshon. Reuven married either Rachel or Leah. He doesn't remember which one. Moshe married Rachel or Leah. He doesn't remember which one. Rachel and Leah don't remember which one. Deservedly so, Reuven and Moshe kicked the bucket. Okay? Now what do we do? That's a questionable marriage, suffix marriage. Here it's a suffix marriage, not vaday marriage. Okay? So what do you do? So in each case, one of the brothers has got to do chalitza. Right? Aaron's got to do chalitza on one, and Shimon's got to do chalitza on one. But the other brother could do yibum on the other one. Right? So here, Rachel, if Shimon did chalitza on Rachel, so Levi can marry Leah. See, his circle corresponds to Leah's circle. If Aaron did chalitza on Leah, then Nachshon can marry Rachel. So each brother, in each set of brothers, one brother does chalitza, right? And the other brother can then do yibum. Okay, on the other one. That's the case. Each one of two brothers, each set of brothers, one that's chalitza. And the other brother can be miyabed chalitza of the other guy. The two of them they're idiots. Okay, here. Moshe has two brothers, both in chalitza. Instead of Aaron doing chalitza to Leah and Nachshon marrying Rachel, Aaron did chalitza to Leah and Nachshon married Rachel. Okay? So, and on the other set of brothers, Shimon only did chalitza to one of them, to Rachel. So Levi can still marry Leah. Levi is not impeded from marrying Leah, right? So because it's not achos chalutzasa. It is achos chalutzasa, sorry, but that's okay. Once chalitza's done, he's allowed to marry her, right? That's okay. So Levi can marry Rachel. Even though, who did chalitza? Nachshon did chalitza on Rachel, on Leah, but that doesn't have anything to do with him, because that wasn't his brother. So even though Shimon did chalitza on Rachel, Levi did nothing to any of them. Rachel he can't marry because Rachel was his chalutza. But Leah can marry because Leah's achos chalutza. And even though Leah got chalitza for a brother from the other set, that doesn't impede him from taking her. Okay? Sounds more complicated than it is. But the bottom line is here. Let's read it inside. Am I not explaining it? Okay. With this case you got? Okay, in this case what happened is simply two brothers did chalitza on the two women. Instead of one doing chalitza, one doing yibum. So that doesn't affect the other set of brothers. Since only one of the set of the other brothers did chalitza, the third brother could do yibum on the remaining one. Now the trick in both these cases, which Gemara is going to say, I might as well say it now, is although in the case before, the case of the previous Mishnah on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, where it's just one set of brothers, and one does, there's one brother married, we don't know which woman, and he has two brothers. One does chalitza, one does yibum. The one that does yibum can even be a Kohen. But here, the guy that does yibum cannot be a Kohen. Why is that? Because every woman in these cases underwent chalitza. A savi chalitza, but they underwent chalitza. And chalitza makes a woman pasul lakuna. So here, Levi, although he can marry Leah, but since Leah underwent the savi chalitza to Aaron, so therefore Levi cannot marry her if he's a Kohen. And vice versa, if Nachshon's a Kohen, he can't marry Rachel, since Rachel underwent the savi chalitza to Shimon. Even though it's only savi chalitza. And even though it's mutually exclusive, right? Because the chalitza of Leah by Aaron, it might have been meaningless, right? Right? Might have been meaningless. Nevertheless, the fact that there's a savi chalitza there makes it forbidden. The Rabbanan. The whole concept of chalutza being also the Kohen is the Rabbanan. But that's enough to make a Muslim. Okay? And that's what Gemara is going to say. So first let's read the Mishnah again. In the middle of the Mishnah. The second line from the end of the Mishnah. Lo yamo shnayim. In this case, if the both of them chalitza, so they can't do yibum anymore. One of the other set does chalitza, one does yibum. If b'diavad, Shimon and Levi both did yibum, so again, as he said before, we do not make them divorce. Okay? Now, although that Tom is also about by Yisrael, by Kohanim also, but by Kohanim this is all also. Why by Kohanim this is all also? Obviously, as we said, because by Kohen, once a woman underwent the savi chalitza, she's forbidden already to a Kohen. Okay? Mitzvah v'yichadol b'yabed. It's always a mitzvah on the oldest brother to do the evil. But if the cotton stepped in, the younger brother did evil, so that's okay, but yeah, it works. If somebody is rumored to have had relations with a maidservant, and then she was released, so he's rumored to have relations with a shiksa. He's got her, and then she got converted. He's not allowed to marry her. Why? Because people say it was true. Okay, it's a marasayin halacha. He caught us, so it's only marasayin. If he did marry her, we don't make him get divorced. If somebody was, there was a claim that he was mizana with, he was fornicated with another man's wife, and she had to get divorced because of that. Even if he does marry her, Yotzi should divorce her. It's not, because there it's not just a Marasayan issue, but it's suffix, it's a Doraisa. Because if he actually had relations with her while she was married to the other guy, she's forbidden on him forever. So therefore, even if he marries her, he has to get rid of her. Okay, Mitzvah B'Yor Goliath. How do we know that the oldest remaining son does Yibum? Shneimar says, V'Yor B'Chor Asher Teli. It says the B'Chor, to whom she will give birth. Now, Manakem, what does it mean B'Chor? Im B'Noilad, if it's say about the firstborn child of the Yavam and the Yavama, Yomar Kroy, then the pasuk should say, the pasuk goes on to say, Yokum Hashem Achiv HaMeis, that the B'Chor will go instead of his brother. But if the B'Chor is say about the kid, then Yomar Kroy Yokum Achi Shem Aviv HaMeis. It to say now it's going to come in his brother's place, but in the place of the brother of his father. Because if it's the kid, then he's not going in place of his brother, he's going in place of his father's brother. So therefore, this pasuk of B'Chor means that this pasuk that says B'Chor must be talking about the brother who does Yibum, and it means El Ad Shieh. I'm sorry, not yet. El Ad Shieh no B'Chor. Maybe you're going to say it's going on the maybe you're going to say it's going on the guy who died, and it's saying that that the only time Yibum is relevant is if the kid which will be born after Yibum was to be a firstborn. But if there were children born beforehand, even if they died, then Yibum was not necessary. Of course, that's not true. But maybe that's how you would tie to the pasuk, that only if the Noilad will be a Bechor, then Yibum is necessary. Not if the Noilad is not a Bechor. Okay? So maybe that means Elachi and Noilad Bechor, only if the newborn kid will be a Bechor, then he was relevant. If that's the case, even if you had kids who died, and then the father died, then his wife should not have to Yibum. So so that can't be. The Yomar Krokus then could question and say, Ubain Ein Lo, he doesn't have a son right now, being the criterion for Yibum, rather, Ubain Lo Hayulo, that he never had any kids. And obviously that's not the case, so therefore even if he had kids and they died, Yibum applies. It's only if he has kids now that Yibum doesn't apply. And so therefore the concept of Bechor cannot apply to the child who's being born now. And maybe when you're not know it's like to a child who's being born now, it's talking about the person doing Yibum, that he should be the oldest of the remaining. So it's really Vayah Bechor. So Bechor should be the Yova. Asher Telei, and who he at, wherever and he should give birth to a kid. And this Bechor, the guy who does the evil, Yaakov Hashem Achav, he takes over the property of his deceased brother. Okay? So the next line of the Mishnah. It says, if there was a rumor about you with a shivcha, and she was released. Nachri says a rumor about you in a shiksa, and she got converted. You shouldn't marry her, but if you did, so you can keep her. So it says we're kiddush, even though he did kiddushin, but not in the suin. He didn't get sand on the chuppah, he gave us a ring. That's kamosha konas. It's as if you already married her, and you don't have to divorce her. Amash lo lichnos, but if Basin told him, don't marry her, and he went there anyway. In other words, they told him explicitly don't marry her, and he went there anyway. V'konas motzim yodo. Then he's got to divorce her, even if he already married her. Because when we say if he married her, he can keep her if he didn't come to ask. They came to ask, he told them no, and he had the chutzpah to go ahead with it anyway. Then we compel him to get rid of that wife. Now, Kirish, what if he married this woman he wasn't supposed to, and then he divorced her? Can he take her back? We said he doesn't have to divorce her. What if he did divorce her? Can he take her back? So if you say he can't take her back, aren't they going to say bad things about her kids? In other words, they'll say, the marriage wasn't a valid marriage. It must be that her kids are mamzerim. So therefore, if there's a situation where they got married, or we let them stay married, that even if sometime in the middle of their marriage they get divorced for some time, the husband's allowed to take her back, lest people say that if he's not allowed to take her back, that the marriage is not good to begin with. Okay, Anita Ishisish, somebody about whom there are rumors that he had relations with Ishisish, he cannot marry her. If he married her, he must divorce her. Rabbi Rabbeinu Eidim, it's only if there were Eidim who actually said that he was Mizana with this Ishisish. Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yossi's asked, in Benitam Be'ever, talk about a case where there were witnesses. Boatani, in this about this case, could you say, Botzio mitachas yodo, that if she had to be divorced from her first husband, then Ava Pisha Konas Yotzi, even though he married her, the second husband's he's got to divorce her. Sounds like it's a very strange Yerushalmi. It sounds like if he married her, he's got to divorce her. If he married her directly after she got divorced from her first husband. But if first she was Mizana under her husband, or alleged was Mizana. Then after she got divorced, she married somebody else, and then got divorced from the second guy. Then the guy who originally had rumors, is allowed to marry her on the second rebound. So if they're Eidim, how can you even allow it on the second rebound? So it's the deal of the Mishnah is mitachas acher. If you got it on the second rebound, mikayim. But if nitam be'edim, if it was on a double rebound, afiyu mitachas acher, you'd see. If they're Eidim, even if it's a double rebound, you should have to divorce her. So if they're a tak Eidim, no matter how many rebounds down the line this woman has gone through, he can never marry her. Our Mishnah is talking about Benita Shlovedim, where there are rumors, strong rumors, almost verified rumors, without Eidim. And therefore they made the wife get divorced from her first husband. But he can't marry her straight away on that rebound. But on the double rebound, then Yikayim, he's allowed to marry her. I'm not sure why. I guess we figure that if the rumors were so true, then he wouldn't wait for a double rebound. It must be that the rumors are not so true, and that's why in a double rebound it's okay. Okay, we'll have to stop here for today. It's too bad. The next mission was Geshmak. We'll do Monday night is Labor Day, but in Yerushalmi we're planning on learning.